Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to another Logic Interest in Gaming episode. In today's video, I will be covering the basics of the Mega Pekka deck. For starters, let's go ahead and review all the cards included in the deck. First off, we have our Pekka. Pekka is going to be one of the two power cards we use. She's great against other tank-like cards because of her power with each hit she deals. So, like anything against a golem or a giant or a royal giant. I like to use her as a defensive card, and then as she transitions into offense, pair her with support troops to create a great counter push. Next is our Elixir Collector. This deck is a 4.0 deck, but in order to make the big pushes, we will need to get all the extra elixir we can garnish. Ice Spirit is great for like mini freezes on opponent troops, buildings, and towers. It's also a good counter to minions paired with the E-Wiz's Zap or the regular Zap card. Next we have our Bats. These cheap units are great for countering any ground troop and even some air units. I think about the Lava Hound, Distracted Baby Dragon, and even balloons. They could also be dropped in tandem with the Pekka to counter Inferno Towers and Inferno Dragons. We've got our Electro Wiz down here. I mainly use this guy for defense, but he's also a great support troop for counter pushes as well. Got the Zap, good for taking out mass cheap troops and resetting Inferno Towers and Dragons. Our Mega Knight, this is the big splash damage card. You drop him on groups of troops, and his splash damage will take him out faster. This guy is also great to pair with Pekka, because if you get those two going down one lane, they're hard to stop. Last but not least is our Bandit. She's a great defensive card and can rush the field with some of her attacks. You can use her for support and creating a split push even. So now that we have covered the cards, let's go ahead and give an overview of how to play this deck. The best way to use this deck is to wait until your opponent has played a card and react to how they are playing. If they play a big unit in the back, we drop our Pekka in back by the King Tower on that same side. Then you can follow up with dropping the Mega Knight on groups of troops. And then once you're done defending, you just go ahead and transition into that counter and drop the E-Wiz Bandit or Bats behind them for support. To defend against this deck, we usually see other buildings or defensive buildings like the Inferno Tower or the Cannon. This is where you're going to use your Bats, your E-Wiz, the Zap, and even your Ice Spirit to kind of counter their counter. Probably the greatest weakness in this deck is you don't really have any flying counters. So if they drop like a Lava Loon deck, it's going to be tricky to defend against. Because you have your E-Wiz and your Bats, and those are really the only two that can consistently do damage to air troops. All right, enough of the how-to. Let's see it in action. Got 3 replays I want to show you. Go ahead and start with this guy. All right, so this first replay, I'm just kind of waiting to see what they do first. They play the Goblin Barrel, which I use the Mega Knight to counter. Go ahead and throw that Bandit in there as support for the Mega Knight. All right, I'm just kind of waiting to feel out, see what they have, and sure enough, they have that Inferno Tower and the Goblin Gang. I go ahead and drop the Elixir Collector here because I want to kind of draw out, see if they have a Fireball, Lightning, or maybe a Rocket, and sure enough, play a Rocket. So I go ahead and start like kind of my own attack back by the King's Tower, because I figure by the time I get up there with the Pekka, that Inferno Tower will be gone. You see this is kind of a low elixir deck that I'm countering, so it's kind of tricky. You got to time everything just right. I went ahead and played those bats just as they were getting across the river, because I figured they were going to play the Inferno Tower next. And I was right. Alright, so the tower is locked onto the Pekka. The bandit is just in there crushing. And we've got one tower down. Alright, drop the elixir collector and rocket to take it out. Okay. Now I start my push on the other side. And still trying to take out that left tower. Just drop the bats, takes care of that knight. And now I use the E-Wiz to stop that Inferno Tower and just pummel anything they have. I use the zap there too, so that the tower would focus on the healthier Pekka and that Mega Knight would stay alive longer, which worked. And now I just put the elixir collector in front. And there's not much else you can do. All right, and that's the first replay. Let's go ahead and go to the second. All right, for our second battle, I lost a couple, or I lost one here against that minion. That minion horde is really hard to counter against with that stick. I won this one, so let's go ahead and check this one out. All right, for this one, I went ahead and played the elixir collector first. Just dropped it in the middle. Looks like he's just trying to waste cards to get something going, and sure enough, he's got a level 10 giant. Here I'm looking for my Pekka to counter it, and of course it's the last card I have. So Bandit, Ice Spirit to kind of get things going. I dropped the bats back there, knowing I was going to drop the Mega Knight, hoping the Wiz wouldn't get them. And he didn't, their Zap did. So the Mega Knight goes to work, takes down the Giant, and then jumps and takes down the Spear Goblins. Throw the Electro Wiz here because I think he might have an Inferno Tower. As I keep going, it's kind of obvious he doesn't. So it plays the Giants to counter my push, and it somewhat works. Alright, try my Elixir Collector. Try to get that advantage going, and then he plays his. Alright, so now I start off with a Pekka Bats. I don't save up the Pekka and play it in the back, I played it in the front. And it's actually going to pay off here as the Bandit goes to work on that tower. Down goes the first tower. Alright, go ahead and play my next Elixir Collector and then counter the Giant with the Pekka. Tried to get the bats in there, but the Spear Goblins weren't on the Pekka yet. Alright, so I have the Pekka Mega Knight combo going with the Electro Whiz behind. They're going to do some major damage on that left tower. I get my other Pekka in to take out the giant before my right tower goes in, and now I've got two Pekkas going at it with that Electro Wizard with a little bit of health left. They arrow down my tower, but at this point it's kind of already over. And there you have it. That's the second win I had. Let's go ahead and look at this third one. And then here I lost two back-to-back. Again, with that minion horde, I had a hard time figuring out how to counter that with this deck. All right, let's go on to the final replay. All right, so instead of starting off with the Pekka, I go ahead and drop the Elixir Collector. Figure if they had a Fireball, I'm trying to see if they have any kind of attacking spells, which looks like they don't at this point in the match. So I go ahead and drop my Pekka down the right side to take care of that giant. He does a Dark Knight Goblin Gang pair, which kind of works out for my Electro Whiz. I drop the Mega Knight behind to support that Pekka. It works out pretty well. Okay, so I dropped the Zap there to try and get the tower to retarget the Mega Knight. And they dropped the giant just in time, so that's why I zapped there. But these two are going to go ahead and take down that tower anyway. All right, and there comes out the Fireball, so that's good to know that he has that. All right, and here I start with the Mega Knight. Go push down that left-hand side. And with the plan of going ahead and dropping the Pekka right behind it. And now that the dragon is locked onto the Pekka, or the Mega Knight, I go ahead and drop the bats to take care of any troops it can, and it almost took out the Dark Knight, so figure mission accomplished on that counter. Alright, and that kind of surprised me how much damage the E-Wiz did to those two dragons. It's actually pretty awesome. Alright, now I'm basically just defending this tower for another 30 seconds so I can get the win. That Mega Knight in front with the Pekka is just awesome if you can land it right. So now we got all the support troops coming in. And they just go to town on that. Get the bats to take care of the dragon. Yeah, and they just go to town on that tower. And that's going to do it. Alright guys, well that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you have any questions or concerns. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.